Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you guys can subscribe. It'd be great. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll be doing Miami Dolphins pregame coverage coming up, WQM YouTube page, Miami56 WQM. Go subscribe. We go live noon on game day to get you ready for Dolphins and Seahawks. A couple of interesting notes I want to get to here. First, I want to mention the Dolphins were speculated to be one of the teams that could kick the tires on a Bryce Young trade. Bryce Young, apparently, there's reports out of Carolina that he is open to everything. He's not going to make a stink. He's not going to demand a trade, but that he would be open to a new opportunity should one present itself. And so there was this report today from their beat reporter, the ESPN beat reporter, David Newton, saying that he is open to wherever his future lies, whether it's Carolina or somewhere else. A source close to Young said the quarterback is open to anything as it pertains to staying with the Panthers or being traded to another team. Then ESPN's Dan Graziano speculated that the Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, LA Rams, and Seahawks should not be ruled out as potential suitors. This is what I said to the Bryce Young. I just want to clarify my statement on it, and we can kind of move on from it, because I don't imagine anything. Here's what I would say. First of all, the Panthers are screwed in this situation. I can't imagine a team pulling, quite frankly, a Miami Dolphins and being dumb enough to give up anything substantial of value for a number one overall pick that you yanked 2 weeks after the season started. He looks small. He looks like he is defeated in his confidence. You have now completely shown everybody your rat's off a ship on him. It's very clear you guys are going to go in another direction. Why anybody would trade for him is beyond me. I can't. I couldn't picture giving him anything and taking on a number one overall picks contract. Like, you're going to foot the bill on that and release him, and he's going to go where he wants to go. If that were the case, if the Miami Dolphins, if he was a free agent and the Dolphins could sign Bryce Young, would I be into it? Absolutely. I think that there are things about that make sense. The parallels with Tua, him learning from Tua, them going to the same school, Mike McDaniel being a proven guy to build up young quarterbacks who have kind of been cast off. I think there are things with the Dolphins that make sense. The other teams in there, the Jets, obviously they got to have some kind of contingency plan after Aaron Rodgers, but I don't picture them doing anything until next year. Seahawks, Geno Smith, if things go awry there, okay. What was the last team? The Raiders? Oh, the Rams. Yeah, they're another team. Old-ass quarterback. But could I picture any of these teams actually giving up anything of value for Bryce Young? Hard to believe, man. Hard to believe that would be the case, but just wanted to throw that out there. I do want to kick on the Tua thing here for a little bit because there has been some interesting stuff that has come out over the last 24 hours on Tua Tagovailoa and his health status. And look, what happened to Tua was very, very scary, right? And there was a lot of outrage and there was a lot of worry, and there was a lot of outpouring of support, and there was a lot of people having opinions on his future, saying, "Hey, what should this guy play football anymore? Should he keep going? Is this the smart, prudent thing to do?" It is interesting though. The one difference between this concussion and the last concussion is the Dolphins seem to be being overly cautious proactively instead of reactively. So last time the Dolphins were in this situation with Tua was Thursday Night Football against the Bengals, and that, of course, led to all of the stuff from the Bills game 4 days beforehand where he had gotten hurt, came back in the game, they won their game against Buffalo. You'll all remember it. It was a very rare occasion they don't beat Buffalo. Then he has the injury against Cincinnati. Very scary situation. He's stretchered off the field. Misses the games, comes back in about a month's time. Dolphins play better. Then they, of course, go through their end-of-season swoon. They lose on Christmas to the Green Bay Packers, Christmas Eve to the Green Bay Packers, and we find out the next day his season's done. He had another concussion. But the Dolphins had to deal with, in that first Tua concussion season, they had to deal with a lot of scandal, a lot of people thinking they covered stuff up. Remember, the rules changed. There was a spotter. All of this outside noise, right? And then, you have the concussion at the end of the year, season comes to an end, boom. All right, that was pretty an obvious decision, even though none of us saw a visible bad concussion in the game. Mike McDaniel revealed he couldn't recall plays, boom. You guys know the story. This time around is interesting because it was a very scary-looking concussion. Very scary-looking concussion in how he reacted to it. He hits Damar Hamlin, boom, with the head. Maybe hits his head again on the turf, but he stiffens up again. We all see the arm go like it is, the fencing position, and we're all thinking like, hey, should this guy keep doing it anymore? Should he keep going anymore? But oddly enough, the thing that you've really heard from a lot of guys is that Tua has been in really, really good spirits. Like, he's been energetic. He's actually traveling with the team to Seattle, which is great news, but it almost makes you wonder, like, all right, does he have to miss 4 games? Because it is Tua, and he has had concussions in the past, so the Dolphins are probably doing the prudent thing. But this was interesting. Raheem Mostert, this is from Barry Jackson. Raheem Mostert, this is from Barry Jackson. He tweeted, "This is encouraging. Tua, Mostert, and Jonnu and families went to Disney event the night after the Buffalo game, concussion, and he showed no visible signs of having been concussed," per Mostert, who, by the way, is dealing with his own thing. He revealed to reporters that he has a chest injury that includes fractured cartilage. So that doesn't that doesn't sound great. But anyway, so he's traveling with the team. He's been around the team. Spirits are up. And he went to Disney the day after they got smoked by Buffalo. Disney, I think when we all think concussions, we're like, quiet place, reacts. And look, I'm not a doctor, not a neurologist. I'm not going to pretend I know what all guys need to do in a concussion situation, but I would imagine, like, hey, take it easy, a little light, no distractions for a really bad one, right? He's going to an amusement park with his family. And I'm saying this questioning it, but also encouraged. Like, I'm glad to hear that he sounds like he's doing things that a healthy guy or a guy who is doing okay is doing. But I'm wondering, well, then why is he on IR? Was IR completely necessary in this case? Is this he feels like he does need to make long-term decisions type of mode and he's not sure, and so that's why, because we haven't heard from Tua. We've heard reports. We've heard that Tua wants to keep playing. Mike McDaniel says it's important for Tua to talk about Tua, but his teammates are all saying great spirits. Everybody said he's been doing great. Somebody asked Teron Armstead about it yesterday, and he didn't really seem to be too keen on talking about Tua's long-term future or anything like that. So I'm finding a lot of this stuff that's coming out about him interesting. I'm not suggesting that he's being soft or anything like that. I'm not suggesting that at all. So I just want to get that clear. I'm not saying that, like, Tua is ducking games or not playing or trying to string along anything. I just find it curious that the Dolphins feel like he needs 5 weeks off if he does seem like he is acting normal and he's doing it. Because it was so different, the Cincinnati game, because there were so many people bucking against what did the Dolphins cover up here. And here it almost feels like they're going so out of their way, the organization, and maybe Tua's side too, to make sure you guys know we're taking every precaution. We're even giving it an extra week on top of it. This is going to be 5 weeks till he plays, on top of a long game week, until he plays a football game. So it's going to go, the 12th to the 27th of October, the 12th of September to the 27th of October before at the very earliest he could play a game. Interesting stuff. I'm curious, and I wonder with him there, like I wonder, is anybody going to get a hold of him? Like, is CBS going to get any time with him or minutes with him? Is there going to be anything interesting revealed on the broadcast with him? Because Mike McDaniel revealing that he's traveling with the team, it's great. It's not necessary. So it seems like a great sign. Mostert's saying he went to Disney World. I think all of it is encouraging because it seems like, hey, if the guy does want to continue playing football, it seems like he's very much in the right mind frame to play football. And this doesn't seem like a guy, if you're doing all of this stuff, that's ready to wrap up the season at all. I guess it's just wondering, like, is this the Dolphins being overcautious? Is this being smart? Does he really need all this time away? Mind you, this is a guy who has a concussion past, too, so that definitely can weigh into the decision, should weigh in the decision. This is not your run-of-the-mill. Like, people will compare it to, like, Purdy or Pickett last year or other guys who have gotten knocked around. And Tua's different because, Tua did look scary. It's not his first rodeo with it. But it does make you wonder, like, all right, where are we at with this thing? Because it doesn't, the stuff we've heard around Tua and the stuff that's been around Tua and reported around Tua, it doesn't seem so scary. It sounds like it's all going in the right direction. But with the Dolphins making a step here to be overly cautious, even though he might have been ready to play a lot sooner, that's the interesting question here.